Good morning. Today we look at John chapter 7, verses 1 through 27. And Jesus is in Galilee, and that's what it tells us. He went about in Galilee. He didn't want to go to Judea because the Jews were looking for him for an opportunity to kill him. And again, the Jews isn't all of them, but it's the way John refers to the religious leaders, those who don't believe in Jesus. And it tells us the festival of booths was nearby, coming up, or festival of tabernacles. It's known as both of those things. And that festival was in the seventh month, the 15th day or so of the seventh month in your calendar. And these festival of the booths, the festival of the Passover, these were designated by God, for the Israelites, the Jews, to observe on a yearly basis. And so John tells us his brothers, Jesus' brothers, came to him and said, leave here now and go to Judea so that your disciples may see your works and that you are doing. He says, for nobody that wants to be widely known acts in secret. And of course, that's, if you want to be known, you want the public to know. You don't, hide it. And, this is one of the things that, in our society, there are many of the attention getters. And I think of the influencers, they want to be seen by everybody. And I really wonder where they get their credibility, some of them, with some of the things they come up with. But Jesus was an influencer. He truly was. And he influences, the world yet today. He changes the world yet today in so much of what he does and says. But, his brothers are encouraging him here. And he says, if you do these things, show yourself to the world. Don't hide out here, in the middle of nowhere where nobody's going to see it, but get in front of the crowds, go to the festival where everybody's going to be there. People from all of the areas of the Jewish nation will be there. And if you go there so that everyone can see, this is what you need to do if you want to be made known, or if you want to make yourself known. But Jesus says to them, my time has not yet come, and I'm just going to stay here. And so his brothers leave for this festival, and Jesus then goes in secret by himself. He wants to go, and just be there. However, about halfway through the festival, the Jews were looking for him and everybody. And it says about the middle of the festival, Jesus went into the temple and began to teach. So he did what his brothers encouraged him to, although not in the manner that they had thought. But he went and he began teaching. And the people were impressed with his teaching. And they wondered, where does he get this knowledge? And, he hasn't studied, the scriptures. He hasn't, he's a carpenter, but they were just astonished. They say, how does this man have so much learning when he has never been taught? And Jesus' response, my teaching is not mine, but his who sent me. And so here, is a way that Jesus is saying, that my Father in heaven sent me, and it's not my teaching. It's, the understanding that I have, the knowledge that I have is a gift from God, a gift from above. And he says, anyone who wants to do the will of God will know whether the teaching is from God or whether I'm speaking on my own. And so, it's, you make up your mind. Is it me or is it from above? Is it my idea or is it what God would have? And he says, those who speak on their own seek their own glory. And, this is the way it is with, as I mentioned, some of those influencers or, popular people that do stuff so that others see them. And we have way too much of that in our world today. The people that our youth should be being influenced by and modeling their lives after are the ones that, just live quiet lives and go around, doing things in secret, and just, not seeking that worldwide attention or even local attention. But Jesus, just is encouraging people to make their own decision. Am I the Messiah or not? And then he talks. He's teaching some more. People are questioning him. He says, "Did not Moses give you the law? Yet none of you keep the law. And why are you looking for an opportunity to kill me?" So even, early on, the things that Jesus was doing was upsetting to them. And he says, "I perform one work and you're all astonished." When he turned water into wine, he healed a lame man. We don't know for sure what all he's done by this time, but of course, one of the big things he did was on the Sabbath. And Jesus points out to them that, according to the law of Moses, you circumcised on the Sabbath because it was the law that on the 8th day after a male child was born, they would be circumcised. And, a lot of those days happened on the Sabbath. That's just the way it is. They didn't have, there wasn't a day that, that people weren't born, but yet, you followed the ordinance of God. And, for someone to be circumcised, someone had to work. And so Jesus, uses that example. If a man receives circumcision on the Sabbath in order that the law of Moses not be broken, why are you angry with me because I healed a man's whole body on the Sabbath? You're talking out of both sides of your mouth is basically what Jesus is saying. You want to follow the law of God, but yet you don't want to do good, and today there's so much that goes on the Sabbath. It's Sunday is not really a day of worship and a day of rest and stuff so much anymore. It's and next Monday is Memorial Day, and I've seen that there are some stores that are going to be closed all day, and it's just people are, how can they do that? Well, I think it's the right thing to do, to close, to honor and remember those that gave their lives in service. And this is why we, on the Sabbath, we take time on the Sabbath to give God thanks and praise for our salvation in and through Jesus Christ our Lord. But yet, it's not about the Sabbath anymore. It's not about Jesus Christ. It's not about God. It's all about us and what we want and who we are. And there's nothing wrong with relaxing. There's nothing wrong with having a day off. There's nothing wrong with taking time for self. But God reminds us, Jesus reminds us that, it's God who told us to, take time for self, but also to remember who God is and to give thanks to God that way. This, what we read today, or what we read today at verse 27, the people say, we know where this man is from, but when the Messiah comes, no one will know where he's from. So they were just expecting him to just boom, appear, and but yet they knew who Jesus was. They knew his brothers. They knew his mom. They knew his dad. And so thereby, well, he can't be the one. Although he is. Definitely, he is the one.